So I have learned that the women that I serve, uh, they've heard about different things, but they don't understand. They have just a very surface level understanding of things. And, with any of this stuff, really, when you get into healing modalities, when you understand why and how something is working, then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that makes sense. It's not just like, I mean, I know from my own experience of having my own, PMF in the past and then
Mhm.
sitting on yours in a very stressful environment and my entire system going into restored is that doesn't even happen when I sat on the PMF when I'm meditating. So I was like, okay, this is something that's so profoundly different. Um, and I want people to understand. So if you could just tell everyone who you are and how did you even get in this space of creating this amazing tech?
I absolutely I adore you and thank you so much for wanting to have this conversation because I think it's the most important to have in this day and age when we are being bombarded with product after product in the space. And a lot of it's coming from faceless brands for people that are creating white label products out of China that don't really even know why they're creating something. They're just looking at their bottom line. Um, we're a mission-based company. So both Mike and I, my husband and partner in business and life, we're both practitioners. So we came to this space. We even became practitioners because of our own pain to purpose story. So I had been struggling with chronic gut issues since I was a child, that I was told since I was 4 or 5 years old when I started doing gymnastics, which is really stressful on my physical body, that that was completely normal. So I had grown up learning to deal with these things until I became an aerospace engineer. And in my mid 20s, I started developing neurological symptoms that Western med had no answers for because they're like, well, your labs look normal. As I'm laying out, I can't keep food in my body. I'm losing limb function. I couldn't talk. Like I literally was dealing with like different levels of like paralysis, chronic severe migraine headaches, so crazy symptoms, and no one correlated it to the fact that I'd had gut issues now for like 2 decades.
Wow.
So all of these things were interplaying where it's just like my body wasn't communicating properly and the stress was so overwhelming on my system that things were just shutting down. So I went on my own decade long healing journey outside of I actually left my aerospace career because the symptoms were so debilitating, and I had a really incredible opportunity to heal outside of that space even though everyone thought I was absolutely crazy for leaving your career field. So making some really pivotal decisions early on has led me on this journey. So it's like I don't for a second, like I guess for our listeners too, because a lot of them have come to us looking for help in different contexts. It's like never downplay what's going on inside your body. Always giving yourself a voice because you know exactly, like you might not know exactly what's going on, but you know when something's not right. But also, if I were to look back, I don't regret a moment of it because I couldn't be doing this work at this level that I'm doing now and serving the people that I am if I hadn't gone through that experience.
Yep.
So, so it's a
It's
whole long journey that got to even align, but
No, it's incredible because it's the theme and the people that I have met, it's my own story as well, is like the hardest, most painful thing that we went through, if we did not, would not have put us on our path to our purpose. And it's just and we have an empathy and an understanding that no one else has except for others going through that. So we are the ones that can truly be in service to those who are on that path, but don't have the answers yet.
yeah,
So
it's like
it's,
cutting the hypotenuse. I like to like instead of going from A to B to C, like you're just going straight there. Because I don't
yeah,
want anyone to have to struggle and suffer without answers for as long as I did. And it was just such a mystery for so long. And I was told by so many practitioners, like, oh, you have IBS. You're just gonna have to deal with this. This is just
yep,
normal. And not wanting to, like, I'm like, well, I started doing my own research. I'm like, what about a SIBO breath test? And like all of these things that I would bring to them. And they just looked at me like I was the crazy person that over, I mean, this is now like 15 years ago when I was doing like starting to do this work and even longer. It was like I started in my early 20s. They told me I was crazy. It's kind of like something that I kind of put on a back burner until it was something that I couldn't ignore. So I know there's so many people struggling right now, and it's just like I would never wish this upon anyone, but I also, for anyone that is struggling in the moment, like there's always a silver lining for why we had to go through something, because you might not know why now, but like it'll come. So
Yeah. Well, could you share a little bit about what things you found to help your gut? Because that's, I mean,
yeah.
it's like 80% of Americans now.
Oh my
It's,
gosh.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've experienced that too most of my life.
Yeah, I was reduced to eating, like I didn't even know what an elemental diet was when
Mm-hmm.
I got to this space, but I just knew that the majority of foods that I was consuming were creating an inflammatory state where it was like I was so bloated, I was so exhausted, I was gassy, like all of the most awful
Yeah.
things where it's like most days I would choose to just have a liquid diet. Whereas
Yep.
it's like, all right, if I have to work and I have to be around people and be out in public, like
Yep.
let me just do some simple things where it's like my body doesn't have to work that hard to digest.
Yep.
And if I have to be out in public, I'm not gonna have like something
No.
crazy happen
Yeah,
where I need to
I
run to
know.
the
It's
bathroom.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I mean, I lived majority of my life like this where I
Yep.
just wanted to be a normal kid. And I was like, why? Like I would look for the nearest bathroom anytime I was out in
Yeah.
public and it sucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, growing up with that, like as a teenager too, it's like where everything is like, who you are and like you're judged on all that. So that was really kind of like my formative years. And then as I got into this space, understanding, I mean, again, we're talking 20 years ago where no one was really even talking about gluten. Like it was literally just starting to happen where like the gluten-free diet and veganism, whereas like I could never tolerate soy. So a lot of like your inflammatory foods, like no one was talking about.
Right.
I mean, I still eat eggs. I love eggs, but that causes a lot of problems for people as well, even though the
Yep.
the protein profile and that's incredible. It's just like there are these healthy foods that may not be healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think one of the biggest components was histamine, like having histamine
Yes.
reactions and then not realizing like people talked about nightshades back in the day, but tomatoes also are high histamine. And it's like being
Mm-hmm.
Mediterranean, love tomatoes. I love avocados. Those are high histamine.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, these are all the healthy foods that I love. And you're telling me I can't eat them anymore.
Yep.
So, and it's never a one size fits all. So for people to be able to go on their own self journey where it's like start to remove some things and see how you feel, the elimination diet may not be the quickest path there, but it's the definitely the least expensive way to kind of test
Yes.
and see what your body is responding to, because especially with the gut, things are latent, right? It's not like immediately you have some sort of like reaction or anaphylaxis. Like it's not always like the
Nope.
allergy. It's like this latent onset of things that can happen 2 or 3 days later where you feel puffy and stiff. The fatigue is a big one where it's just like your body just feels really sluggish or slow to recover from a workout, and you're checking all
Yep.
the boxes and doing the right things, and you're like, I just don't feel good.
Yep. Yep. Well, a big part for me, and I know for you too, has been um, the more stressed I am, the more dysregulated my nervous system is. My gut is the first thing to to rebel. So, and again, that's leading into like PEMF. What was it that? How did you discover it? How did you start using it and then realize like I could do this much better?
Yeah. So it's funny because it's like, oh, we talk about it, or back in the day, it was like, oh, my gut's the weakest link in my chain. And, I'm very grateful that it is my gut and it's not your heart, which doesn't give you those signals when something's amiss. Like if I eat
Right.
something, I know almost immediately that things are off. So I'm like, oh, the canary in the coal mine. So this is actually a positive thing. So
Yeah.
think about like the gut is like your seat of your instinct and intuition. And I've finally, after, almost 4 decades on this planet, started to listen to it when my gut feels off. What's my nervous system saying? What's creating this stress in my environment? Which is
Right.
everything that the PEMF helps to, or low intensity, the PEMF that we're leveraging with Align helps to regulate the nervous system and those responses. But I've also gotten really good at starting to listen to it. So I might not have the answer, but I'm like, okay, what in my environment is triggering this instinctual response? Like, what do I need to listen to because my gut's talking to me and it's never wrong, right? Like,
Right.
we know, and we're just getting better at learning to listen to the signals. Like the symptom is the message
Yep.
thing. So it has really brought me to this place in space because we developed a line with my nervous system in mind, right? Like I've been stressed and triggered the majority of my life, whether it was from a very young age doing gymnastics at a nationally competitive level, being very injured at a very young age, stressful home life, and then not to mention being a type A and really wanting to achieve from a young age. I mean, I was taking like 10 advanced placement courses in high school. So what is stress?
Right.
Like
Right.
I really had no barometer for it. It was just like this was the level at which I need to compete and to perform at. And I really paid the price in my early 20s. And now, when I was in my early 30s, like having this level of understanding that when I'm getting triggered, like you're talking about, you're feeling it. The first place that you're feeling it is your gut. Um,
Yep.
Slowing down, paying attention to the signals and signs, giving my body additional rest. And when PEMF came into our life, it was actually, I'll bring Mike into this a little bit. He's a born medical intuitive. So his
Mm.
background was born to two military parents, suppressing his gifts because they didn't even know what that meant. So chronic anxiety, depression, suicidal, like in his teens and early 20s, just because all of these messages and inputs were coming in, and he's clairvoyant, clairaudio. He can see, he can feel, and like he can walk through a crowd when he was a kid and he'd feel other people's pain and didn't know or have a barometer for what that was. So he gets this download. He's super strong. Like you look at the man and you're like, okay, he's like former bodybuilder, like super strong bones, never broken a bone in
Yeah.
his body.
Yeah.
He throws his back out randomly from a hard workout at the gym. This is going back now 5 years, more than 5 years ago. We first got together, and he's like, "This has never happened in my life." And he's on a friend's like a heat, just a regular like heating pad. And we've been around frequency technology before. He was exposed to like a Healy device very early on when they were bringing this from
Mm.
another country. Like, so he's
Yep.
because he's the frequency guy, like he's in this energy realm. So people are like, what do you feel from all of these things? And majority of the time he's like, I don't really feel anything. So he's
Yeah.
on this heating pad. He goes into meditation and he's like, we need to create something with frequency, not just heat. Like this is nice, but this isn't it. And we really, this is when we did 2.5 years of research and development. So it wasn't like it just happened overnight, but it was like this spark of knowing where it's like we can really help and serve in a greater context than our one-to-one clinical practice, because it's great, super transformative for that one person to walk on that journey. But what are the tools that you can bring into your own home that are really going to empower you to make the best decision for yourself? And that's really where Align is not just a physical tool, but as a frequency device, and we are energetic beings, it's helping up level our own ability, our own energy to make better decisions for ourselves.
Yep.
What happens when you have more energy? You can not only just do more things, but you're thinking more clear. You're coming to it from a place because it's not energy like I drank a cup of coffee and I'm like
Right. No.
jittery and racing around. This is like more calm, centered, focused cellular energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Okay, so then you guys started developing and looking at different things and then discovered, okay, did you order some mats and start
We have,
taking them apart and figuring things out and realizing like there's
yeah.
they're onto something, but you being you and your background, and your husband being who he is, really created something that I every time I explain it, I'm like, it's like a
It's
spiritual
different.
experience. How do you explain a spiritual experience? You just know it resonates within your tissue, within your soul, within your intuition, everything where you're like, this is different.
There's only
So,
so much you can measure, but I love that you were able to actually see it visibly on
yes.
your biometric. I don't know if you had a Whoop or you an Aura
Yeah,
ring.
Aura ring. Yeah.
Yeah, so you like saw it and really you're like, what was I doing at that
I
30
was.
minutes of time?
I'm like, that's not possible. How could I go from absolute, like, as high on the stress level as possible for when I was giving my talk to like within 30 minutes to not just like engaged or whatever, restored, like at the very base of where it's as relaxed as you possibly could get. And I remember sitting on it and being like, gosh, I feel so like just after you've meditated for an hour and you're like, okay, I've got clarity, I've got like, I'm centered, I'm grounded. And again, I think the reason that I didn't expect that is because I have a PMF mat from someone else. And mostly I just would be like, oh, well, it feels like I'm sitting on a heating pad and that's comfortable. But I didn't notice any changes really too much with my metrics or anything like that. So can you explain why there is such a dramatic difference?
Our components are completely different. So there's a ton of lookalike products on the market, but they are not an aligned mat. Uh, so we did 2.5 years of R&D and we pulled apart gratefully. So we were donated several mats from
Yeah,
friends and not the companies, but other
right.
friends that had devices from like a $400 Amazon mat all the way up to an $8,000 class 2 medical device. And we're
Wow.
looking at all the components in them. We saw some similarities, but a lot of them were like that just felt like the heating pad that were like, this isn't true PEMF. They're not, there's
Right.
no copper coils in the mat that are even able to produce a toroidal field, which if you've ever seen the energy field of even an egg, like if you look at an egg, it
Mhm.
has a toroidal field that's coming out of the top of the egg into the bottom. Our field does the same thing out of the top. So we call it the biofield. It's the largest organ on the body that's never talked about anymore, that's been bastardized as quackery for the last 100 years. And yeah, so these are electromagnetic fields that are created. I mean, the Earth is electromagnetic. The first PEMF device that you've never knew about was walking barefoot on natural Earth surfaces. So it's always been here for us. Humans have evolved over tens of thousands of years to be in contact with the Earth's surface. And it was only until about the last 100 years that we've put ourselves in these beautiful little boxes on rubber soled shoes in the last 60 years and disconnected ourselves completely from this natural electromagnetic pulse.
Right.
And why that's so important is that it helps us discharge static electricity. It helps us absorb electrons from the earth. So our cells in our body are like little batteries. The more negatively charged our batteries are, the more energy that our body has. And the earth has provided this for us naturally. For the last decade that we've been telling our clients to go outside and get barefoot in the grass, it's free. We've heard every excuse under the sun as to why someone doesn't have enough time. They live in the concrete jungle of Manhattan or the tundra of Alaska, and they just wouldn't do it. So it was really us that wanted to create a better quality product in that 2.5 years where we're using real copper coils. We have 8 of them throughout the mat that are producing, again, that true toroidal field. And that PEMF is like coming home to the body. Like you said, you're sitting on the mat, you had no expectation, you're in conversation. It wasn't like, come on, I want to feel something.
Right.
It was just miraculously happening because when your
Yes.
cells are in contact with something that it remembers, it knows exactly what to do with it. So it's not like you
Mhm.
had to think your way into this state. You don't have to meditate. You don't need to do breath work. You were just in conversation while your body was absorbing this energy. And it was literally like to your nervous system, like, oh, I know that
Yeah.
feeling, like taking a deep breath. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Like
And
the way you feel after being on vacation, because usually when you're on a vacation, you're walking around barefoot and you do. You just feel that.
yeah,
And my goodness, I would say probably 90% of humanity today does not ever get a chance to feel that in a day. Probably higher, but yeah. So the importance of doing that to your system, can you explain what begins to happen when you're able to do that on a daily basis?
yeah. So again, we're talking all about nervous system, and I'm so glad that this is finally becoming a buzzword because this is really where it starts, right? Like this is an inside out approach. You
Hmm.
can be, we talked at the beginning of the call about all the diet and doing all of the things, but the nervous system is like this invisible armor that we wear all day long, every single day, even when we're sleeping. If the body doesn't feel that it's safe in the environment that it's in, if it's constantly perceiving a threat, whether it's real or in most cases it's perceived now because we have all of our devices all the time and we never get a chance really to like shut off.
Yeah.
The body's never, this invisible armor is always going to have its grip around us, right? So
Yeah.
when we are in a stress response state, the body is not able to digest food as well. It shuts down that whole digestive tract, which I had no idea about because it thinks we're running from this metaphorical tiger. So why would it
Yep.
be time to digest food if you need to escape danger? biggest thing that we're seeing, even with people that are doing everything right, yeah, like our biohackers, they're, God bless them, I love them. They are the most stressed out group of people I've ever met in my life because they're
Yep.
trying to do so much, putting more tasks on, they're measuring everything. And it's just like the number one thing that we hear when we go to conferences and trade shows, and this is from like incredible humans in their 20s that are doing everything right, they can't sleep because the
Mhm.
body doesn't think it's safe. So why would you be able to get into deep, restful, restorative sleep if the body thinks it's going to be chased by a tiger?
Yep. You can't.
So
You can't.
this is where the Align mat really shines, because without you even trying, you're sitting on the mat and you're going to a place of restoration at a cellular level.
Incredible. And then, so can you talk about the components? So you've talked about the coils. There's also, you have two different mats.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain how the two are different? Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of see the Zen mat peeking out behind me, but
Yeah.
the Zen, we liken it to walking barefoot on a beach. It's a really
Okay.
light, uplifting, floaty, and approachable experience because of the 7 different crystals in that mat. And the different gemstones were very specifically chosen because not only do they interact well with each other, but they work transdermally with our body because of the mineral content. So the way that we like to give the analogy is like you drink electrolyte minerals. So like magnesium affects the body different than sodium and potassium. Well, the piezoelectric property that happens when our radiant heat, so our body is about 98.6, give or take. When we lay on those stones, we interact with them. So they literally are mechanically stressed. So that's what piezoelectric means. When you heat or you hit a stone, the minerals release negative ions. So think about like waves crashing on a shore. It's releasing that, silica, sand is silica. So like these negative ions that come into the air have been studied for their properties to increase our serotonin levels, so our happiness hormone. So even
Mm-hmm.
just laying on the mat without it on has the propensity to actually elevate mood and reduce free radical damage in the body. So that's what we're getting from like breathing in air pollution and different things just in the environment. So it's literally every single component is intentional to help you come home to yourself. And then even we're talking about radiant heat of our own body. So if you didn't turn it on, but we do have a heating element in the mat that's not a copper wire. And why that's important, we use a carbon heating element so it produces zero dirty electricity, so no EMFs.
Okay.
And that's, again, I think people really disregard how important that is, especially with the data that's been published in America, unfortunately, because in Russia, they never stopped studying frequency. In the 1920s, they bastardized it here with Royal Raymond Rife and Tesla's technology and all these things
Yep.
that got classified because they wanted to usher in this Western medical model where it was like very much drugs and surgery, this very limited toolkit. So the only thing that really gets talked about is ionizing radiation here in America, where it's like, is it physically heating your tissue? And that's when it can cause damage. But that's going to be farther from the truth. It's
Okay.
starting to create issues with the delicate circuitry of our brain at levels far lower than that. And there are literally thousands of published studies on this, research papers. It's just not talked about here in this country.
Okay.
So I don't want to downplay that and I don't want to scare anybody, but the problem is you just mentioned no one's getting outside anymore. We're not getting in contact with the earth to actually bring homeostasis and regulation back to our body. And we're being pumped full of 5G, high voltage power lines. We're driving in electric vehicles. All of these non-native frequencies are really messing with our delicate circuitry and creating not only like mental and mood disorders, so higher levels of irritation, anxiety, depression, just not feeling right, fatigue, to inflammatory conditions where people just hurt all over in their body and it's unexplained.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that is very important to understand the difference in the heating element where it's not just like you're plugged in and this is this current coming from the plug and heating that up because you're actually um, creating the opposite effect of what you're trying to achieve, right? By
That's
having
the
something.
biggest difference between our technology. Not only, okay, we're doing clinical research too. So I think
Yeah.
anyone listening really needs to understand this. If they're going to buy a device in this day and age, a lot of what they're reading and being shown in like ads is marketing. If
Yeah.
someone hasn't done or like worked with a company that's doing third party independent clinical research, peer reviewed or otherwise. I think it's really missing the mark because again, there's so much out there. And again, even in our space, there's a lot of lookalike products that are using aquarium rocks or painted glass. They're not real crystals in
Right.
the
It's
mat.
not real gemstones. Yeah.
So they swap out the ingredients for creating a true healing oasis for these subpar products to make a buck. And I think I'm not here to demonize any company in the market space for doing that, but it's just I feel like people need to do their research. And like you're your own best barometer, like feeling what you feel in your body is huge. But also,
Yep.
again, I think it's important for people to see that data where it's like you saw what happened in 30 minutes between like you have this device in your home, you use it every single day. Oh, it feels nice. But then you got on an alignment and you literally watched your metrics change in real time.
Yep. In real time. Yeah. It's and I think I was sitting on what's the other mat, the black
You're
mat.
sitting on the stealth, so that's all black tourmaline. So I think, all right, we talked a little bit about the difference between the stones.
Yes.
They look different. So visibly, the stones are the only difference in the mats. The black tourmaline feels different than the Zen. It'll feel like you're gently being drawn into the mat and being given a warm hug. So we
Yes.
we leverage the black tourmaline with our veterans, first responders, elite level athletes, anyone that's like a high performer and like a high stress response job, or even like overcoming some mental and emotional trauma. It's for anyone, but if you have an affinity for that, or if you know that you kind of like fit in that demographic, that mat will be the one that's going to hold you and you'll resonate with the most. Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. Because I've had some questions on how to decide which mat is right for you.
So as a company, so I'm the scientist, right? So I have the engineering
Right.
background and Mike's the medical and super, so it's like science and spirit. But as
Yep.
I've navigated this space more and been on this journey with myself, learning to listen to that inner voice, it's like it sounds so like foreign where it's like, hey, which mat did you see first? Like when people walk up to us at conventions and trade shows, it's like they will literally just gravitate towards one. We have a whole lineup of like two or three of each type of mat so people can just go up to one. And it's not like they'll just walk up to an open one. They're like, no, 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 I want to land this one. Like
Yeah.
it's a knowing.
But it's a knowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
the one that
don't
you're drawn
deny
to.
that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, amazing, amazing. And so if someone has the mat or is getting the mat, what do you recommend as far as starting out on it? How long? Uh, you know,
Simple. Keep it
some
easy. Like,
keep it.
okay, your body, bare
People
basic.
always want instructions,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
So
like
bare
you
basic.
can't do it wrong, right?
You can't do it wrong, except don't do like the higher frequency. So the frequency is measured in hertz and it's a pulse rate. So I wouldn't tell someone to do 50 hertz, which is like athletic recovery right before they're
Okay.
trying to go to bed. So their body's gonna
Okay.
be like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's run a marathon.
Gotcha. Yes, that's the stuff. That's the information they need to
Yeah.
know. So let's say they're waking up in the morning and they want to set their day, they're going to set their intentions and what would they do? So they're getting on the Zen
They're
mat.
getting on their mat. You
Yeah.
can you can sit on it, you can lay on it. We have people that do gentle stretches and yoga on it in the morning. So meeting them where they're at, like it
Yep.
meets your morning routine wherever, like if that's what works for you, do that. If you want to meditate, do that. If you want to like
Okay.
welcome the sun, 5 to 20 minutes.
5 to 20 minutes. Okay.
Yes. So again, if someone has a super busy day, 5 minutes on your mat, take some breaths, get centered at a higher frequency. So you want the
Okay.
faster pulse rate to energize the body in the morning.
Okay.
We would love if someone could do 10 to 20 minutes in the morning, but again, like if
Yep.
they got 5 minutes, that's all they got before they got to get out of the house. Just take that
Okay.
time for them because it's setting your frequency for the day too.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
allowing you to set that cadence, right? So it's like if you woke up and you felt a little groggy, it's going to allow you to like feel centered, feel calm, feel at peace. So that's more the frequency that you're going to attract for your day. And then when you come home from your work day, you can do a relaxation setting. So that would
Okay.
be like something, even if you got off a stressful phone call, if you had another like
Yes.
60 second to 5 minutes to just jump on your mat and like hit that reset button so you're not carrying that energy with you.
Okay.
Again, so this is working like not only at a mental and emotional level because the frequencies match different brain waves. Like you can
Yeah.
literally set it to concentration if you have an important, like if you're studying for a test or you have an important phone call or public speaking or something coming up, You can literally get on it at an alpha brainwave, and it's going to help you find that focus and flow.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we mentioned like athletic recovery. Like you had a tough workout, your muscles are super sore, you want to help get lactic acid out. We have frequency settings for that. And then
Okay.
most important is sleep. So if someone only had a limited amount of time, I would tell them to do one energizing setting in the morning and then one sleep setting right before bed at night. So they're getting in that delta brainwave and they're
Okay.
getting deep restorative sleep because that's where you heal yourself most effectively.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. And it comes with instructions on the different hertz and understanding what is what, right?
Yeah, so a couple things, and this is where I think we really shine is with our customer service as well. So everything we're not AI. You're going to talk to a real human. If it's not Mike or myself, it's three of our other team members that all just have the same knowledge that we do, and we're going to
Amazing.
walk you through. You can schedule a complimentary frequency advisory call with us. So if you want
Oh,
to go
wow. Okay.
deeper, yeah, like so if
Yeah.
someone wants to go deeper in their own specific wellness journey, we can help schedule like how much time do you have in a day to be doing this? Are you going to a wellness center and utilizing the technology? We can still set up something for them where it
Amazing.
works for their lifestyle. We have a ton of video tutorials online. We have a secret frequency list that talks about if you're working on conditions specifically, whether it's allergies to an autoimmune, which again, this is like not from a line, but this is from the last 80 years of published PubMed research on PEMF.
Wow.
And we've
Wow.
compiled all of that.
Yeah. So much information that you offer that is just not available, or that, again, a tool is only good as you know how to use it. I mean, yes, you can lay on it and you're going to get benefits, but when you really know how or understand how to work within the issues that you're trying to address, it just makes all the difference. And I think that's where, again, there's just so much information and things out there that people get overwhelmed or confused or feel like that they're going to do something wrong. So I really love where it's like you can't mess this up, and but there's also guidance all along the way. So
Our whole goal is to help
amazing.
people stress less, not more.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, amazing. I will be sharing this with everybody who has reached out and wanted more information on it, and have it live on my website. And yeah, is there anything else that you can think of that I didn't ask or that people should know?
Um, First of all, I'm just super honored, and I appreciate you wanting to share our technology with your community. And this is, and that's personal to my journey as well as I'm about to embark on my own explant
Yeah,
endeavors. So it's been one of the most challenging mental and emotional decisions that I've ever had to make in my life. And I am so grateful for you to be there to walk with me, and to be able to have a tool like this for my own healing journey again. It is, I think it's foundational, right? It's like this
yeah,
is, if we can get the energy component right, you can stack anything else on top of that. It is literally like the starting point. So, and that's not just like toot our own horn, but
no,
again, if I were to
it's the
like,
truth of biology.
it's just,
It's like,
we are energy beings, and
yeah,
unless you're going to go lay out in your backyard and sleep overnight for 8 hours and like recharge with the earth naturally, you are not, we do not have the ability to get this in our modern life. And I can just speak from, again, the thousands of people that we've walked with in our own personal journey, how much this has just shifted our energy levels, our healing ability. I mean, we're growing a startup company. Like, to be able to show up every single day for the people that rely on us and create this incredible tool. I don't think I'd have the energy to do it without it. So
no, I don't think so either. I mean, yeah, it's I'm really excited too, because I'm working on putting together things for women who have implants, or I mean, this works for everyone, but I really feel like there's just no protocols, there's no instruction manual that you're given, or when you get implants, in ways to help the biological response that's happening. And so to have something, I mean, you're a testament to that, of being able to
it's a
thrive, you know.
tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's the thing. You
very,
can't
very
do a lot of stuff, right? Like I can't
right.
do sauna, like all of these things that I've learned on my journey. It's like, why would I feel worse when I would do all of these things that were like trending biohacks that are supposed to help with my longevity? And I didn't
Yep.
feel better. I felt worse doing them.
Yep.
So this is a safe option for those that do continue to have implants or that are helping to detox the body post recovery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
This
you
has
so
been
much.
amazing. And yeah, I'll share this with everyone, and if you have any questions, you can reach out
Yeah.
to you and to me, and we'll
Yeah, they can reach out to us on either info@myalignmat.com is our direct email. So one of us, again,
okay.
everything's in America. You're not going to talk to AI. You're going to get an American customer service person or
Incredible.
Mike or myself. Or we're at My Alignmat is pretty much every handle on social. So we're always there to answer questions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Candice.